to your mom? You said you stay with them.
Oh, it's only 10-minute walk at the most.
10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
He just lives just up the road on Hadfield, part of the Hadfield Road, just further up the hill.
Right.
Yeah.
Was your mom staying with you at your grandparents', or?
No, she was
night?
at home or in the business.
Okay, at the business, or she would stay at
She
home.
kept the business going,
Yeah.
all through the war.
Was it one story? Because he was the barber, wasn't he?
Yes, that's right.
Was there an incident where you tried your hand at being a barber one day?
Oh,
Your
yes.
neighbours
Yes.
came in?
Well, when he died, I got all his equipment, yes.
Ooh.
And so my father used to go to the barbers, so eventually he said, do you think you're going to cut my hair?
Was that your
And
dad?
he had a good head of hair, quite thick. And,
Oh, did he?
So I cut his hair and it did look alright, it was quite. And I did it a few times. I did it outside in the garden with a cloth on the lawn, and the hair would fall onto the cloth, and we cut the hair after that. But we had a neighbour, Mr. Barnes, and he was watching this. He was a very elderly chap. He had very fine, almost white hair, and he was watching this. He said, "Hey lad, you'd be handy with that, aren't you?" I said, "I'd like to think so." He said, "Well, you come cut mine sometime." I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And we had electric kit clippers.
Oh.
They're very, very vigorous.
Okay.
And you cut just a touch, and the hair's gone. So I went round and his hair was so fine, because I just started, old patch disappeared. What are we going to do? All I can do is match it, go down a bit further. Gone. And like his head was almost bald, really. And so I just cut it very fine on the side. As soon as I seemed to touch his hair, it used to do just go, and I couldn't control this. It's a big thing, this old-fashioned head clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bushy eyebrows.
Yes. Said, "Can you do my eyebrow?" Touch his eyebrow. Gone.
God.
Yeah. So anyway, he was tight. This chap, and he obviously couldn't see himself until he went to a mirror. Fortunately, he
What'd you say?
went back next door, and he come back almost immediately, and he hadn't seen himself. And what he used to do, have our papers when we finished the papers, he'd have our papers.
Mm-hmm.
So the mother went to the door and opened it up, and he stood there. This bald little man.
Oh
He says, "Oh, Mr. Grant, you had your hair cut?" He says, "Yes." He says, you were Derry, did it?
no. Did your grandfather give you any lessons in the barber shop?
No,
He never gave you
no,
any informal lessons?
Self-taught, you could say.
Just watching.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
So that was the start of my hanky-panky. So,
Multi-talented.
yeah, so we finished off at Ferrostatics, and got an invitation to join Fairy Engineering. That was very interesting indeed. They're into the military and nuclear, and I've worked. That allowed me to work on nearly all because that was a boom then, year for power.
Yeah.
The nuclear power stations, and I helped to develop. And I was really, this is probably one of the highlights of my engineering career, helping to make the reactor safe and manageable. If anything went wrong, the boring rods will drop down, close it down. They were also auto-controlling the temperature of the reactors So they'd set a temperature, the boron rods would move up inside the active rods, and so the temperature stabilised and stay there. So they were safe, unlike the
The one
Asian ones that they built that, well, they're not building now, thank goodness, but even the French weren't as good as we were then. So,
Was all of Europe, in that boom period, was all of Europe building the nuclear power
well,
plants?
we were a leader. I
You
think.
were.
Yeah.
England was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But the French were very good in it. Actually, we did join and shared some of the equipment,
Sure.
some of the handling equipment, and that gave me access to Rolls Royce, and I used to come down to Rolls Royce in the UK, and get them to help me to get the material. Well, they get materials, and we'd supply the design and tell them what I wanted. I used to call it Jonathan when I went down south, because he was in uni, was down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, was calling in to see her.
Was it Hull or is it David at Loughborough?
It's in the Black Country.
Was it? All right.
Yeah,
Birmingham.
yeah,
Right, yeah.
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah. And that was very interesting. They were a nice company to deal with, really good.
Mm.
Were you independent at that time? Or were you
No,
consulting?
Employed at ferries. And
Yeah.
actually, I worked at them. And when it was all sort of the nuclear industry grew very quickly, and that was starting to waver a bit. And some of the staff were poached then by the Americans. So I thought I need to look further than this. But there were still several companies like Simon Carves, but the big companies like BNFL, British Nuclear Industries, I worked for them for a while, and also the Royal Ordnance Factory.
Okay.
Yeah, we also went into weapons, making area denial weapons, and that was good fun.
And then Francie as well, you were
Not very good
Yeah,
weapons though,
Yeah,
weren't
that's
they?
right.
There was weren't they anti-personnel? They would land and open out.
Yeah, not
Like
very.
little, like that ball that the children have, that's
Mhm.
big and then
yeah.
it opens out. They're anti-personnel.
Yes,
Nasty things,
Yes.
really.
yes, I spent, like you say, I worked some time at Frontis, and that was very interesting.
What-
And
What were you developing there? Is that things like the Trident?
Yes. Well, it was mostly the weapon on the weapon side. Not only the area denial systems, but the weapons. When you build a weapon, you have to build, particularly those that go to very high altitudes. You've got to build in the mechanism to activate it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was involved in helping to develop these weapons that would go off
Right.
at the right time and in the right place.
Right.
And you had centrifuges to produce the G levels that the weapon will be subject to on flight,
Mm.
and proximity ignition, so to go off at the right place,
Right.
So that was very interesting.
What sort of missiles were these then? Which ones were the Trident, was it? Were you mentioned that?
Yes, Trident, yes,
Was it?
yeah. But of course that was on the decline.
Yeah.
So Simon,
We come to the point at Franti though where there was a consortium, wasn't there, with
Yes.
an American company
yes, that's right.
that went badly wrong.
Yes, yeah, yes.
They were
That was on the armament side,
yeah.
and that they were good in this. That they would come up and ask what we wanted, and we'd tell them, and they'd go back and tell us, well, you can't have that. Well, this is what we want, and and then they come back and complain because we're slow in altering it, you know. So it was it's happy and not so happy relationship we had with the Royal Ornaments.
Was that in the
Society.
60s?
Huh?
Would that be around in the 60s?
No, that was
No.
much later. This was before you went
70s?
self-employed.
Yes,
wasn't it,
that's
really?
right.
Okay.
Yeah. But some hanky panky that I think that Jonathan would be interested for me to relate to in the development workshop, which was next to the design workshop.
This was at
For
Fair Engineering we're talking about
No.
now.
Franti.
Yeah.
Frantic,
Yeah.
right.
They had this development workshop, and they're all skilled, very skilled tradesmen. And you know, we'd get them to make these bits and pieces and try them and incorporate them in the weapon system when, if it was any good. But they were very precise sort of and very skilled type. But typical engineering tradesmen, they'd go off at break time and go and have a brew, and go to dinner at have a brew, and one of the things they'd do, one of the features they had, because there's a lot of mist and work and dust and dirt around the workings, they'd hoist this clothing up on a rack, and they would be, and they get just another thing to control them going early. They would pull this rack up, and it was hung from the ceiling, so they hadn't any working or going out clothes to wear, so they could keep them in there until it came down. So, but what some of the jokers used to do, pinch them or alter them. So, and one particular one, which is very notable, he was very, it was called, when they had the
Stylish chap, wasn't it?
Italian jackets,
Okay.
you know, buttons up the front, you saw them, and very sort of tight, and he used to come in, and we'd put it on
Right.
hanger, and put it on there, and it would go up there, and anyway, some of the jokers, they would bring it down, bring it down, and alter the button position. So he'd come in and he'd button up. So he'd get one of his wings sticking up there. And he'd think, I've put this on wrong. So he'd change it around, change the buttons, stick it up that side. You know, he was starting to do that for about an hour before he said, he took it off. He says, "Have you guys been doing anything?" That was it. Yes.
Did they take off their clothes to put on personal protective equipment? Protective clothing?
No,
Well, the lab
no,
coats.
not
Lab coats.
in the nuclear industry. We have to be very careful what.
Yeah, I know.
Another story is in the industry. This was the Fair Engineering, where we had an annexed building and to the factory. And this went out into the playing fields, and by the playing field there was a garage, and we had a very good chap, young chap, who we worked with very well, but again, he left to go to a better job, and the second chap we got, he was elderly, and he was a real unpleasant man.
This is your manager, yeah?
Yeah. And so he wore glasses. So one of the things, but he used to take the glasses off when he comes to look what you're doing, you know, because we had to write procedures, and he'd come and have a look at these things, see if he approved of them. So He'd come in, he'd put the glasses down there. Anyway,